This is Andy Purewell for Boxing News. I'm joined by Joe Cordina over here. Joe, you're in the middle of fatherly duties, so I appreciate you jumping on. How you doing? How's life treating you?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I've literally just come back from the gym, up in Essex. So yeah, it was a 4 hour drive home, and then yeah, come in straight to have the kids. So
I'll try not to take away too much of your time.
I'll have to take the headphones out because that's what he wants.
Right. Yeah, Joe, just say back from training before we come on to the gym stuff and your new training setup. Let's just start off with that big news that broke a few days ago. A fight between yourself and a man who many consider to be a pound for pound star in the world of boxing, Shakur Stevenson. When we did our interview about a week and a half or so ago, there wasn't really anything on kind of out there. I spoke to Eddie last week and he said talks had kind of progressed and picked up. And then this week, here we are. How quickly did things progress on your front? What can you tell us about the talks of the Shakur Stevenson fight?
Um, yeah, to be honest, my manager Spencer Brown, he got hold of me and yeah, he sorted everything for me. So I've just left it to him, and he's got the job done.
How quickly would you say it all kind of went through?
Um, pretty quick, pretty quick. They presented me with a fight. I sort of knew something was gonna come, so I just kept myself in the gym. Um, kept myself in the gym doing little bits. Like people saying, yeah, you've been all day. I said, yeah, but I train every day on holiday. I don't really miss your day. Do you get me? I'm always in the gym. So um, yeah, as soon as I had that sort of inkling that something was going to come, and then bang, straight away I had a phone call. You want to fight Shakur? The bear shit in the woods. Like, of course, if you listen, that's what we're all in boxing for, is to be fighting in the best fights and the biggest fights and trying to earn the most money. Um, so that's what it was. It just went from there.
Joe, we've done interviews for the last number of years, but especially over the last couple of years, we've spoken about potentially fighting Shakur Stevenson. Would you ever imagine a fight with Shakur would have materialized on the back of the outcome from the Kakashi result?
No, not really, not really. But at the same time, I've seen 2 seconds. Right? So yeah, to answer that question, no, I didn't. But then again, you have the likes of, for instance, Nick Ball that have had another world title shot after a loss. Then you have the likes of Lee Wood, had then Josh Warrington. So that's just three British fighters. I could go on and on and on all day about fighters that have had world title fights straight um, after a loss. So yeah, regardless of anything, I've been a two-time world champion, British, Commonwealth, WBA, international, all that sort of carry on. And there's nothing more for me to do apart from being involved in big fights. Like, for me to step backwards and be fighting, not, I wouldn't say eliminators, because all these eliminators would be top level fights and hard fights, like very hard fights. Probably some stylistically would be probably a tougher fight and harder fight for me than Shakur. Not saying that he's not going to be difficult, because I believe he's for me he's one top five pound for pound best fighters on the planet. But stylistically, I'm meaning now. Um, yeah, I just feel I wouldn't be able to get up for them. Like, for instance, like them fighters that are just finishing their British sort of domestic scene coming into European. For me, I couldn't get up for someone like that. I can only get up with them top level fighters that have been world champion or heading to be a world champion. I can only get up for fights like that. So, um, yeah, I'd rather, that was the case of me going backwards to fight them sort of guys, I'd rather hang the gloves up, because it's pointless for me. So
Just
yeah.
before we continue with the Shakur talk, you said a very interesting point you make there. How important is it in your own mind you don't become one of those fighters where maybe after a loss or two, you're somewhat kind of only offered fights with those up and coming fighters?
I'll pack it in. I ain't a gatekeeper. I ain't a gatekeeper. What they got people got to remember is I've been a two-time world champion. When my back's up against the wall, I perform the best. Now, not taking anything away from Kakashi, um, he was like, even though we people that are in boxing know what he's about, that he's a good fighter and whatever else, but he's to the world, he's a bit of an unknown quantity. So it's like me stepping into that. By right on paper, I should beat him. Now, I believe 9 times out of 10, I'm going to beat him. But it just that one day, he was the better man. He got the win. But then, if it was for me, fighting, how can I say? 2 seconds, Andy. After a loss of Kakashi, even though we know what he's about, people that in boxing and to the world he's an unknown quantity, they think, oh yeah, but he lost against a nobody. No, I lost against an IBO world champion, and he's now an IBF world champion. I believe he goes on to beat Warrington, who's been a two-time world champion. So, um, for me, if I was started offered fights like that to try and be a gatekeeper. Like for instance, if someone offered me like a Gary Kelly, I'm not going to be up for that. I'm just not going to get up for it because one, he haven't achieved half of it, even though he's a very good fighter and he'll cause a lot of people a load of problems, and we don't know how far he can go. But if I was offered that, like, how can I even get up for that? So yeah, it's just one of them. It's just one of them things. I would never. I'd rather hang the gloves up and I'm happy with what I've done. I got 2 world titles sitting up there with another a WBA continental there, a British title there, and another 3 belts under my bed. So like yeah, I wouldn't be able to get up for them things, them fights.
Go back to the theme of Shakur Stevenson. Obviously, a bit of a mixed reaction over social media. You've had a lot of support from the UK. Obviously, a lot of people in boxing wanting to see you go over and pull off that what would be deemed an upset now. But obviously, the American boxing fans are not too kind of keen on this fight because they want Shakur to be in those other big names, i.e., with a tank and what have you. What have you made of people who are writing you off before October 12th even swings around?
It's no different to a Rakimov or a Ogawa fight. Ogawa was gonna knock me out. Rakimov was gonna stop me. So like it's not a problem. Not a problem. I perform better when my back's up against the wall and I got a point to prove, and the opponent is at that high level, which Shakur is at the highest level. Now that's going to make me perform out of my skin. Do you understand? I've always done that. Every time the opponent is that level and potentially above me, then I always perform. So yeah, listen, I don't really listen to social media. That's why I haven't even got my Twitter back. I got hacked
I saw
and
that.
I can't get it back. But I'm not interested in Twitter because Twitter is the most negative place on like it's the most negative social media platform on there. And I just don't even listen. People just talk nonsense on it. And the people that spend half their life on it, especially boxers, they need to go and get a proper life. You get me? Yeah, they doing what they're doing on in their job and whatever else, but they spend most of their life on social media. Like, don't get me wrong, I do Instagram and I do Facebook, but I have to stay relevant on there. I don't. There's not really much negative stuff on Instagram, not much negative on Facebook, so I don't mind it. But Twitter is the most negative on all platforms, and I just can't have it. It's just a load of bollocks. So I don't really listen to anyone.
Joe, this
No,
this fight itself with Shakur, obviously the last few performances of his haven't kind of set the world alight. They haven't had the fans kind of praising the talent that we all know he possesses. Do you see weaknesses there? Have you seen things in those performances you take confidence from them?
but we can say that, but no, that's mine. So it's like, okay, yeah, you can say he has to perform and I have to perform. Then he'll make to it for a good fight. But I can't go out there like any other fight that I've had, which I won't. against Shakur. So yeah, I think he'll be very surprised how I do approach this fight. Um, but yeah, listen, I don't take him lightly whatsoever, regardless of bad performance or not. But like we said, my last two performances haven't been the best. Maybe nor of his. Um, but he still gets the W's, doesn't he? So it's you can't really knock it.
What's the key to victory for you, Joe? How would you go about defeating Shakur Stevenson?
Just follow the game plan, innit? Follow the game plan. Just buy into it.
Speaking of game plans, obviously you've got a change up in training situation. Obviously, we saw the reports come out that yourself and Tony split. Just to start off with that, what prompted the decision to leave Tony?
Um, I just think like when I was with him from the start of my career, so almost 8 years. So um, yeah, it was like why try and fix something if it's not broken. Um, but in a sense of I think I was going until the wheels fell off. They fell off, and then you start assessing things. Now, um, I just think in this stage of my career, I just need to try something new, and I just need to freshen up. And pretty much that's all it is. Is a freshen up. Tony's amazing geezer. He's like family to me. Him, his wife, Karen, they've looked after me. I'm the only fighter that I've actually lived with him. So, um, yeah, he's a great guy, great trainer, and yeah, he can teach some of the boys, the likes of Jimmy Sains and George Liddard. You've got Maisie Rose and some of the other youngsters coming through a lot. Obviously, he's still got Connor there, but yeah, he's a very knowledgeable geezer, and he got me to a two world title, so I couldn't say a bad word about him.
What's the new training regime then? Where's life led you to now?
If you do you know?
I know, yes. And you
Okay,
mentioned earlier on a certain location as well, which I'm going to pull up in my next question if you don't.
yeah, okay. Yeah, I've partnered up with down in Harlow with Barry Smith and Ben Davison. So yeah, I'm down there now. Good training environments. Um, they train completely different to how we train in Tony's. So it's something new. It's a freshen up, and I've been learning. I've been there a week, just over a week, and yeah, I believe I'm gonna excel under them. So I've learned a lot already. So it's yeah, I'm looking forward to what the future holds for me.
There are obviously people in that gym who you've crossed paths with recently. Obviously, the big name Anthony Joshua, from the amateur scene, but Royston Barney Smith, you've shared rounds with in sparring. I know in the past there were talks of yourself and Lee Wood fighting, and there's probably others in the gym who you also know. Did you speak to those guys prior to moving, and did they kind of tell you what it's like in that gym, how they operate?
No, I don't really. I spoke to AJ about it back last week. Um, and yeah, he obviously it just shows what the work that they've done with AJ, how he's come out in his last couple of fights. So then you got the likes of the McCormacks.
Yeah.
You look at what they're doing and how they're coming out. You've seen since he would have went with them how he's excelled. Um, who else? Shabazz, how he's gone on. Uh, and there's a couple other fighters there. You got Moses, great fighter. He's there. You got Campbell Hatton. That's there. He's still relatively new to the boxing game, and he's learning. I can see that. So
Fabio
yeah,
Wardley as well.
yeah. Fabio's doing bits there. So
Who do you
yeah, it's
cheer
a
for?
lot.
Who do you cheer for now, Joe? Fabio or Fraser?
Oh, listen, the thing is Fabio's in the gym. Do you get me? Um, Fraser's been my friend for over what, probably around about 17 years, 16, 17 years. So it's yeah, it's a difficult one because we're in the gym, but at the same time, Fraser's my friend for a very, very long time, and he's more like a brother to me. So um, yeah, it's hard, isn't it? But at the same time, it's in boxing, that's what happens. it's like yeah, it happens. You just got to get on with it. You can't take it personal, and that's what it is.
Just one final thing on the training front, Joe. Obviously, Ben and Lee are kind of given a lot of credit for how they break down fights and their video analysis. What have you made of that so far? Have you had much of that, and have they already started to find and devise that game plan for the Shakur fight?
Um, Lee's away at the minute, but Ben, his boxing brain is great, and just certain things like we were just sitting down watching little bits of Shakur, show me little bits, and yeah, we just going through a few things that we think might work, might not work, and we won't know if it works unless we try it. So yeah, it's there's loads of things, but I think I'm in the best place, and best chances of me winning would be, I reckon, under them two. And I've always said it. The only place I would go to train in the UK apart from Tony would be them. So yeah, I'm under Barry and Ben now at the minute.
Joe, just to kind of move on to another topic which involves Shakur. We've seen that he's recently signed a deal with Matchroom and with Eddie. I just want you to know where that kind of leaves yourself, your own deal, because usually, for example, if you're with Matchroom as well, Eddie would want to see you win, but now he signed Shakur. Are you still under contract with Matchroom? Have you left? Because obviously he's been very vocal about how he sees Shakur's career going and how he wants to guide it.
But you have to ask Eddie for that and what he feels. But yeah, it's I don't really take nothing personal in unless someone's fucking with my money, then I take it personal. But it's just business at the end of the day with that. Listen, if you've got a chance to sign one of the best fighters on our planet, then crack on. But yeah, is what it is, man. I don't take that personal.
Who do you think Eddie wants to see come out on top?
I couldn't give a monkeys. I'll be honest. I couldn't give a monkeys whether he wants me to win or him to win. If I win, I
You're his
100%
best
he'll be on
mate.
my ass. He'll be on my ass. Obviously, if Shakur wins, of course, he just signed him. That was always a plan. I'm not expected to win. That's why this makes me dangerous. So I'm not expected to win. So yeah, I ain't got nothing to lose whatsoever. If God forbid I lost against a future Hall of Famer and the pound for pound, the current pound for pound top five best fighters on the planet. So what have I got to lose? So yeah, it's irrelevant that I just got to go out there, leave nothing in leave nothing. And I can't leave it to chance. I got to leave it all in the ring and then go from there. It's one of them things, and I um I just do everything I can in my ability to try and come out victorious and then go from there. See what's on the table. They're all talking about Shakur and Javante. Might be Cordina and Javante in a minute.
Well,
So we
that was
don't.
what I was going to lead to my next question. There's been a lot of talk about Shakur and Williams Zepeda fighting each other early next year. Do
Yeah,
you know if kind of anything's set there, or do you feel like they're overlooking you, or is there a rematch clause? Or let's say if you beat Shakur, is there a rematch clause in his favor?
I don't know. Something you'd have to speak to Eddie about. I haven't got a clue. Um, I haven't seen the contract for me yet. So um, yeah, that's something you'd have to ask Eddie. But definitely they're overlooking me, 100%. But I don't mind that. Like I said, there's nothing for me to lose. Do you understand? It's all to gain for me. So yeah, it's I just gotta go out there and, like I said, leave nothing to chance and leave it all in the ring.
Final one, you said nothing to chance, leave it all in the ring. Does that mean you're looking for one thing and one thing? Well, not necessarily one thing only, but you are looking for a result which takes it out of the judge's hands.
Um, Not necessarily. If it's there, it's there, isn't it? But if it's not, like how I see it going is like does what he does. He people makes them pay. But I can also do that. And if it means like people say go on about Shakur being boring, I don't see it. It's an art of boxing. But I don't mind being boring too. So then it comes down to patience. I got all the patience in the world, me. I don't give a shit. So if it means me winning a fight, then I can all I gotta do is be patient. Happy days. So yeah, it's yeah, I'm happy to do whatever. But if a shot's there, of course we're gonna take it. It's a silly like that'd be silly to think, oh no, I'm not gonna chance that. I'll leave it to the judges. No, no chance. I'll try and get him out of there. The same way you try and get me out of it. But yeah, he's great fighter, really. So that might be hard to do.
All right, Joe, listen, I appreciate your time. I'm sure you want to enjoy the rest of your weekend now with your family. There is an Eddie interview which is going out currently on the Matchroom channel, so I'm sure that he might be saying a few choice words as well. So hopefully nothing that we've missed. But listen, enjoy the rest of your weekend. Thanks for
Go
speaking
on,
to me and good luck with Cam.
go on, go on.